Fire chief.
Yeah, she's got to get her notice. Oh, maybe they can go together.
Do you do it, or do you have to hold the title?
No, anybody can.
Anybody can do it?
Okay, I will call to order the meeting of Monday, March 24th, 2025 to order. I ask that all please signed in, who have not signed in, please do so. Please turn off all cell phones and other electronic devices, and please conduct any private conversations in the hallway or outside. Emergency exits can be found on your right and your left. This meeting is also live streamed via YouTube with text commenting available. At this time, if you please join the town board in the salute to the flag. Okay, a few announcements. For the month of April, we have 6 employees celebrating birthdays in the month of April, starting with April the 3rd, Town Justice Reed Holter, Kelly Kabinski on the 16th, Michael Stockman on the 17th, Jason Mayer on the 19th, Tom Sterone on the 21st, and Neil Chapman on the 27th. In addition, we have the Village Tree Board Arbor Day event on the 26th, Saturday the 26th, in Ontario County Household Hazardous Waste Collection from 7 to 3 at the Casella landfill. And I think that's it. Also, I take that back. March 25th, Ontario County Paper Shredding Event. And let's see, this evening missing, Brian Emelson is on vacation. Keith Maynard is attending a daughter's concert, and Steve Metzger, our town engineer, is under the weather, will not be joining us. I have a walk-in resolution this evening that will, looking for the appointment of 2 individuals for full-time positions in the Recreation Department. So, at this time, approval of meeting minutes. This would be for March the 10th, as well as a special meeting held on March 18th.
Moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, manifest number 6, we'll ask the town clerk to introduce.
Manifest number 6 in the amount of $256,309.68 has been reviewed by the Victor Town Board with the following accounts charged: general townwide, general outside village, highway townwide, S&S Consolidated Sewer Fund, and trust and agency.
Okay, thank you. Up on the screen, expenditures that are in the range or exceed $5,000. We'll start with American Rock Salt for road salt. Payment 2 to Barclay Damon. Attorney fees for the month of February. Payment to Bluestone Creek Development, the April rent for the Parks and Rec. Payment to Shalafo Law Firm for commercial assessment work. Payment to Granicus. Thank you. Software. Annual support. Payment to J.C. Smith for Highway Message Board. Payment to Lincoln National for the April Employee Dental. Payment to MVP for the April Healthcare for our employees. Payment to RG&E for March Townwide Gas and Electric. And final payment to Syracuse Sand and Gravel Highway Materials. Total of the above-mentioned expenditures is $192,888.83. Total town expenditures minus the previously mentioned expenditures equals $63,420.85. Town board members, do you have any questions on abstract or manifest number 6?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public comments, an opportunity for members of the public to care to address the town board. We'll start with, see if anyone's on. No, no one's there. And anyone here publicly? Okay. Under reports of town officials, Casey Page.
So I just had a couple things I wanted to share with the public and the board, kind of to preface an authorization to enter into agreement with Natural Upcycling. So currently, we have transfer station users who are utilizing our bucket exchange with Impact Earth for food scrap recycling. Impact Earth has gone through some growing pains, and they had to increase their fees pretty substantially. So I looked into another vendor, pretty much the only other vendor around, and they actually use food scraps for not only composting, but for renewable energy, and I kind of wanted to introduce this YouTube video because it kind of explains everything they do. Ready.
It all started with a simple concept. Could we marry together the talents and experience of a third-generation waste and recycling professional and the resources and expertise of a seventh-generation dairy farm and renewable energy company to form a business that could start to address a massive problem, food waste? According to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, if food waste were a country, it would be the third largest greenhouse gas emitter globally, behind China and the United States. More than 1.3 billion tons of food is thrown away every year, representing 3.3 billion tons in carbon dioxide equivalent emissions annually. What if there was a way to capture those emissions as well as reuse those nutrients contained in the food waste to create renewable energy and create natural fertilizer that would limit our reliance on artificial or imported sources? Enter Natural Upcycling, a business focused on strengthening the relationship between medium to large-scale generators of food waste, grocery stores, food manufacturers, hospitals, higher educational institutions, corporate cafeterias, and more, with facilities that can handle these resources in an environmentally friendly way, primarily anaerobic digesters and compost facilities. Natural Upcycling's core service offering is food scraps collection. This is a toter-based service where customers use either a 32 or 64-gallon tote to collect their food scraps. Oftentimes, these customers collect what we call pre-consumer food waste, which has been collected in the kitchens, food prep, or back-of-the-house settings. Depending on volume and route frequency, Natural Upcycling then collects these totes in a specially designed collection vehicle that can tip up to 3 totes at a time into a leak-proof body. After those totes are dumped, Natural Upcycling workers use an onboard power washing system to rinse and sanitize the totes to cut down on unseemly odors and vectors. This step removes the yuck factor from food waste collection, making it easier and more attractive for our customers to implement this service. All of the food-grade rinse water is collected by our trucks and retained in the load. Once the route is complete, our vehicles set out for the closest food scraps recycling facility. Natural Upcycling currently offers food scraps recycling in 7 states and the District of Columbia, and we work with a network of facilities throughout our territory to ensure that food waste does not travel more than 100 miles to be recycled or reused. Here is a Natural Upcycling truck arriving at Noblehurst Green Energy, the anaerobic digester located at Noblehurst Farms in western New York. The vehicle empties its load at the site to be commingled with other feedstock sources, recycled into renewable energy and fertilizer. As one of our flagship facilities, Noblehurst Green Energy can handle multiple types of food waste in addition to manure from the adjacent dairy farm. The process of mixing food waste with other biological sources, either on a farm or at a wastewater facility, is called co-digestion. Noblehurst processes over 200 tons per day of manure and food waste through its system. Another key part of Natural Upcycling's business is the recycling of packaged food waste. This is oftentimes food or beverages that didn't meet the manufacturer's specification. Whether it had the wrong ingredient, it might have been a tad too sweet, maybe they put the wrong label on, or maybe it's just past its sell-by date. Here it is unloaded with a forklift and staged nearby to be readied for depackaging. Here is one of the anaerobic digester facilities that we utilize. Natural Upcycling arranges the transportation and delivery of packaged food waste from its customers and typically arrives in a tractor trailer. Food waste is then scooped up and loaded into the depackager, where it squeezes out the food waste and sends the packaging into a different area. This is a highly automated process that requires a substantial investment on behalf of the food waste recycler. Here is a different setup back at the Noblehurst Green Energy Digester. Here they are focused on the recycling of the packaging in a slightly less automated setup. The cardboard is separated from the packaging and pressed into large cardboard bales for recycling. One of Natural Upcycling's fundamental beliefs is that in order to fully address this food waste problem, we need to prioritize solutions that not only solve the root cause of food waste, which is principally a supply and demand issue, but also allocate food waste to its highest and most beneficial use. This is best represented in the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's food recovery hierarchy, which graphically represents those priorities. One initiative that brings this message full circle was Natural Upcycling's milk donation program in 2020. In the aftermath of COVID-19, Natural Upcycling became acutely aware of the disruption to the food service supply chain, leading to millions upon millions of gallons being dumped on farms across the region. As a result, Natural Upcycling partnered with the nonprofit organizations ReFed and FarmLink to transport, process, and ultimately donate over 32,000 gallons of whole milk to people and organizations throughout New York State. So in 2021, Natural Upcycling launched Excelsior Environmental Services, a full-service waste and recycling business focused on the food industry and its existing customer base. It was a natural evolution of the service offering that presents food industry customers with a one-stop shop for all of their waste and recycling needs. At the end of the day, Natural Upcycling simply wants to do well by its customers, its employees, and neighbors in our communities. It is a business that was born out of opportunity, but has found meaning in working with the farmers that reuse these nutrients, kitchen staff that collect these materials in a convenient format, and sustainability leaders that drive organizational strategy toward a zero-waste future. Natural Upcycling, creating a sustainable future for our community.
Okay, so that would be my plan if you guys agree to enter into agreement with them. We would start with 4 toters in the same location that we keep the buckets. I will not put out all 4 toters. I will put out 1 toter. When it's full, I will bring the next toter out because I want to avoid the yuck factor as much as possible. So you want to fill it to the top and only pay for as many as you fill. So it's $20 a toter. So, any questions about it?
Currently, we have the 5-gallon
Yeah.
pail. So they, at the household, they would continue to utilize that?
You can, if you have your bucket, you keep your bucket. Those are ours. We bought them. And then when it's full, you just come, you dump it in the toter. You're responsible to take it home and you need to clean it out. We're not going to be, that's done. If you don't have a toter or a bucket, you can bring in whatever you want. I mean, it's up to you what you bring it in.
This company's out of Cayuga County or Livingston County?
I think they're all over the place, actually. There's different divisions. They are in Vermont. They are everywhere. But the person I spoke to says they are out in this area 5 days a week because they go to all the Wegmans. Actually, Ontario County Jail uses them. So they're out this direction all the time. So
Closest that they dump, where do they dump then?
I think down in, it may be Cayuga County. It depends. They may take it to, they use it for feedstock to some farms too. They make compost out of it, so whatever they choose that day, I don't know.
Well,
There's a
interesting. Go ahead.
there's a digester in Cayuga County, so I think that's what they were referencing, that they take
They
some
do
of their
take
waste
some
there,
of
yeah.
it, but they can,
There's another one.
there's
that's in
other
Western New York.
places,
Where-
resources they can use.
We're developed, Linwood is, Noblehurst is in Linwood, and Robbie Noble, I've been and toured their facility.
Oh, you have?
The digesters, in part, started out being just for manure recycling.
Mm-hmm.
And then it developed further on to get into the food stock, and
Yeah.
a whole different concept altogether. And it's, when you talk about the yuck factor, you can go out there and it's just as clean as you see it to there. You don't have a smell, you don't have an odor, you don't have, it's
Yeah, when I
Unbelievable.
went to the one in Buffalo, there was no odor either. I think our residents, what they're bringing in is going to be a little trickier to put into a biodigester, just because it's really, really particular how you, the chemistry of that. So I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do. I'll ask more questions once it starts up. They're going to come and do bring the toters, do a little presentation for staff, and if anybody wants to come, let me know. I'll let you know when they're coming, but
What's the scheduled pickup time? Once per week or?
one time a week, yep.
The only question I have, I'm trying to visualize, these toters would go in the same place that the facilities are now?
Yes,
My
I
only question is
probably,
with the power washing, the grade that it runs, I think it would be running across where cars are parking, is that right?
I asked about that, and that's something we're gonna have to talk about when they come. I'm hoping to be more in the grassy area there. We're not gonna be able to utilize that shed, I don't think, for toters. I think that's gonna have to be removed, and we're just gonna have to put the toters right outside.
I think
near
a
the
worst case
fence.
scenario, I mean, maybe, I don't know if there's another area closer to where the drainage point would be. So
Yeah.
I just would like to avoid it, because I assume there's gonna be some particulate that's
I
being
wanna
washed
keep,
away.
I wanna have it somewhere I can kinda keep an eye on it, just to monitor it at first. I also kinda wanna, I'm a little concerned over the summertime when the weather gets warmer, what it's gonna be like yuck factor wise. So I may have like a little bin with leaves in it to kinda put those in and kinda keep them, any yucky things out, so, we'll see,
Great idea.
but, yeah.
Will it take the same scraps that we're taking in the buckets?
Yes, I have a list if you want it, I can give it to you.
No, I got a bucket. I know what goes in it.
Okay, it's pretty much the same thing, everything's the same, anything organic.
Yep,
Like, you can use compostable bags, yep.
right.
Thanks for introducing this to us and providing an additional option for us as well for our
Sure.
consideration.
Another announcement is, the Ontario County Department of Sustainability and Solid Waste Management is gonna pilot a shredding bin program here at the town hall. They're delivering, a 95-gallon, shred box this week on Wednesday, and we are going to put it outside of the elevator where that table is right there. And this is only going to be accessible during town hall hours. It's for residentially generated paper only, not business, no businesses. The paper has to be loose. It can't already be shredded. The binder clips have to be removed. Staples and paper clips are fine to leave on. No, obviously no other materials but the paper to be placed in the bin. And each resident is allowed one legal-sized box of material per month. And there's going to be signage, and all the rules will be displayed once we get it here. That's it.
Swap shop?
Swap Shop is opening the first Saturday of May. I have my safety meeting coming up here with all my volunteers, so
Very good.
Okay.
You've been busy. Thank you, Casey.
you bet.
Okay, also in, under reports of town officials, you have your highway update from both Casey and Mark. IT from Susie. Parks and Rec from Brian. I do want to mention, so there was a photo left at your place setting, and we actually have the award here that Brian received, I think it was a week ago this past Friday. And so honoring Harlan Fisher Dog Park for excellence in landscape design and exceptional park design award. So congratulations to Brian and all the Parks Department employees that helped with this. So if anyone wants to see it, you would, thank you. And next, we'll call on Director of Finance, Rich O'Donnell.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to take a couple minutes tonight to give you a little background, a little support information on the resolution you're going to look at for funding our reserves out of our 2024 budget. We did get our audit report, a draft of it from our auditors. Very good news to report. We're looking at a surplus between $2.2 and $2.4 million for the year. Coming from a couple different areas, we certainly had strong sales tax again in 2024. Program revenue townwide was above budget. And the other big factors, our expenses were below budget. So all three factors, all good news. And one thing I just wanted to point out too is funding of the reserves and the excess surplus. We kept the tax levy totally flat for the town last year, as you all remember. So if anyone asks, hey, you're funding reserves on the back of increased taxes, well, we certainly didn't do that at all for the town. And I think looking at the last 5 years, I think our tax levy went up under like 0.5% over those 5 years. Excuse me. So it's been really, the surplus and the reserves have really come from strong sales tax that we're getting. Our fund balance, the board adopted the fund balance policy many years ago. And basically what that is you look at what we have as an unassigned fund balance, and the policy is 18 to 21%. So you ask, what is that of? Well, you take our budget for the next year, which for 2025 is a little below 18 million. So 18% of that is roughly about $3 million. The OSC actually recommends 15%. So as a town board, we did 18% to be a little more conservative. And the reason that we did that, I think you could have a big event like a COVID situation where that unassigned fund balance is used. Hey, let's say our whole revenue source goes away, Parks and Rec shut down, some other things happen, you use that unassigned fund balance to make up any shortfalls that you have in the revenue or support the expense levels that you have. So just as a point of reference, our fund balance, unassigned fund balance last year was 2.7 million. So what we're looking to do too is pretty much keep that constant. And why that we're all comfortable with that number is as our allocations keep going up every year, that 18% keeps growing. Do we really need that as a town to keep it growing? Not when we're at a level of, 2.7 million. So I know our direction is discussions with the board in building the reserves is taking a look at both the highway and Parks and Rec building, trying to build the reserve to fund that. And the goal, outside goal, is to get to 50% of the cost of both of those projects. So if we would look to move over, as I suggested, the 2.2 million, our capital reserves would be a little over 11 million. So just for the building of the highway building and Parks and Rec, our total reserves would be about 20 million. But that's for different, the highway has the reserves for projects for the capital and the road projects. We have sewer reserves, we have street lighting reserves, and then you add in the unassigned fund balance. So in discussions with Jack and I had with our auditors, I think we're all very comfortable at recommending the 16% to move over 2.2 million. That'll, like I said, get us to the 11 million goal that we're looking for, with a long-term goal of funding those buildings that we have and not really increasing the taxes significantly to our residents or any tax increases at all. So if you have any questions on that, I did send you guys out the memo with some information on that. I do not have finalized or even second draft of our audited statements, but I'm very comfortable with moving the 2.2 million over. And what that basically does, it amends our budget for 2024. So it's not in the 2025 numbers. So the resolution is to amend the budget to move the money from the unassigned to the assigned capital fund, so.
Any questions for Rich? Okay, well done. Okay. So just an update from my office. In your mailbox, everyone should have received a copy of the Fishers Fire District monthly report, copy of a certificate of appreciation presented to Mayor Haddon at his last village board meeting on March 17th, copy of a thank you letter from Mercy Plight for our annual contribution, a copy of a letter to the New York State Electric and Gas for RG&E requesting a 5-year extension to our trail easements, copy of edition number 11 of Labella Associates, their in-office educational updates. On March the 18th, the town hosted a Vietnam veteran ceremony here in the main meeting room. Congressman Joe Morelli presented Vietnam veteran lapel pins to living veterans. A total of 17 veterans were nominated to receive. Unfortunately, only 6 could attend. The event was streamed via YouTube. Thank you, Susie. And I do appreciate those town board members and employees who could attend this event. The recipients certainly appreciated the applause by everyone. We are working with the county to add additional signage, low clearance for the bridge on County Road 9, heading up this way. It's been brought to my attention by the school district and bus drivers that tractor trailers head up this way, and there is signage, but what we're looking for, something here on 96, that, nowadays they're putting in the address, and they're followed on their GPS, and lo and behold, it takes them right to it. This bridge, that some can make it under, some can't, so we're just trying for better signage there. So that's all I have. Board members, care to report on any liaison responsibilities? Okay. Moving to the resolutions, I'd like to start with the walk-in resolution. This is it's two-part, appointment of Bridget Bartholomew to the full-time recreation leader position, and then the appointment of Caitlin Bailey to the full-time recreation leader position.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I do want to take this time to introduce Caitlin Bailey. Caitlin is a Village of Victor resident. She currently is a Town of Irondequoit employee, soon to be a Town of Victor here, and a former special events at Camp Good Days as well. So comes with a lot of knowledge. Well, certainly the two of them, young ladies, will certainly do wonderful things here in our recreation department. So thanks for joining us, Caitlin. Resolution number 1, as Rich alluded to, amending the 2024 budget, increasing the A fund capital reserve, moving the unappropriated unassigned fund balance.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 2, acknowledgement of the resignation of Kelly Kaminsky from the full-time clerk to the town justice position.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, I would like to read the resolve that the Victor Town Board and the residents of Victor thank Kelly Kaminsky for her hard work and dedication, not only in her position as clerk to the town justice, but also in the many roles she has served in with the town of Victor over the past 20 years in both part and full-time capacities. I can tell you, every department she worked for, she worked in the assessor's department, I think she spent time in the clerk's office, the building department, recycling, the courts. So she's done everything but drive one of our trucks. So she would have done that if we asked her to.
One of my babysitters.
Okay,
This is Casey.
Do we have a first and a second?
Yep,
Yep.
you do.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Number 3, appointment of clerk to town justice, Amanda Curry.
So moved.
Second.
And I do applaud, and I let him know it as well, Judge Holter, for promoting Amanda to this new position. All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 4, appointment of William Embridge to Stormwater Program Manager.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 5, award of the bid Cobblestone Creek Phase 1.
Moved.
Second.
Mark, before we vote, everything I would assume, I mean, the recommendation from our engineer, but when you look at the dollar amounts here, and I know you've worked with Macedon Landscaping before, I know they've done another capital project. Are everyone satisfied with this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you look at the line items and the valuation, all the different bids, it kind of shows you why there was such a difference. But Masson Excavating has done 2 jobs for us now, and they've done a great job, so we're comfortable with that.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 6, authorization to enter an agreement with Natural Upcycling for Town of Victor Organic Food Scrap Recycling.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 7, authorization to purchase a 2025 Milton Caterpillar, and we are trading in a 2022 Milton Caterpillar.
So moved.
Second.
Mark, I have one question. This is a 3-year program. This new one, the 2025 we're going to purchase, that also going to be on one of those programs scheduled?
Yeah, it's another 3-year program.
All those in favor?
Aye.
From Parks and Recreation, accept the donation for the Harlem Fisher Park sign and flower pots.
Moved.
Second.
Again, as always, we'd like to thank our Victor Garden Club for their financial support and support all around. All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 9, authorization for the purchase of flowers and plant material.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Number 10,
Jack, I'd like to offer possibly for motion to block 10 through 16. Is there all for Parks and Rec for?
10 through 16? Any objection to blocking 10 through 16? Hearing no objections. We have a first by Councilman,
10 through 14, Jack, I
Or
believe.
14, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Oh, 14?
14,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. 14.
10 through 14. These are all agreements through the Parks and Recreation Program. We have a first by Councilman Guinan. Do we have a second?
Condon.
All those in favor?
Aye.
No.
That was a no.
That was a no. Blocking.
Number 15, request for certificate of liability insurance waivers.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And number 16, authorization for the Director of Parks and Recreation to enter an agreement with Marathon Engineers for Dryer Road Park Playground replacement.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public comment. Opportunity for members of the public to address the town board. Mr. Oh, Mr. Nankin, he was making notes. You
Yes.
want a bucket?
I was talking about, it, yeah. If I have one, thanks to all of you. Dave Nankin from 1174 Chaucer Court. 2 questions, if I may, Casey. How large are those bins? The height specifically. And also, right now you use the plastic recyclable liners. Will they be available still?
That would be up to you to buy those if you want those for your own bucket, but we would not, we wouldn't have those, no.
Rich, is that microphone on? And if you could put it near Casey, please. Thank you.
So, no, you would have to purchase the liners if you want them for your bucket, but we would not provide those. Those were provided by Impact Earth. which is one of the reasons they were raising their prices so significantly.
Would you know where it's available?
Yeah, I can, if you want to stop in my office, there's multiple places you can get those.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Any other members of the public care to address the town board? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Linwood, south of Leland.